Hello everyone! Welcome back to the channel. This is Jersey, and today we are gonna be building our volleyball court recreation area requested by Franklyn. So this is something that Franklyn really wants, right on the opposite side of the cul-de-sac. He wants a way to get his stress out after building a request, and he's like, I need something that I can get my frustration out. So this is his request. So we finished the cul-de-sac like we done in our previous videos. We got now the motorbike rental place. We got the lighthouse in the background. So now we're gonna fill up this area so we can make our volleyball court. So when I was planning to make the volleyball court, I was trying to decide how big to make it, and I kind of went to make it proportional to the size that the character is. So it's not like real big, it's not small, but something that when I'm standing there, it looks just right. So I did a couple of like trial and error, and there you saw that I left this clip there because I wanted you guys to see. I know I mentioned it a lot of times, but sometimes when you're starting working and you're using the power tools and it's early in the day and if they break, just restart the day. If you haven't done much, it's an easy way to get everything back. So it will always be on your judgment depending on how much you have done. Sometimes it's just worth restarting the day so you can have your power tools back, and to always keep focus on the battery. Every time we're using the tools, you know, we get focused. I get focused on working on what I'm building, counting the squares and all that, and then you forget to look. So I left that little in the beginning because I wanted you guys to see that it happens all the time, and sometimes I do got more involved and I do make the call and to see if I want to or not. So but I left that in there. But okay, going back to the volleyball court, the idea was I wanted to make it kind of that it's not small, it's not big, it looks just right with the character, and that's kind of how I based the idea of. And I was trying to decide. I knew I wanted sand for the volleyball court because we're gonna try to make it because since we're in the coastal town, it's gonna be kind of like a beach volleyball area. So I had couple scenarios in my head or how to approach it. I wanted to go more recreation style or a little bit more competitive build, and I went a mix of both. So it's not just like something that you will find on a park, just a little volleyball court and that's it and nothing else. But I didn't go all the way out like a big competitive stadium style. So I went kind of like a mix of both. So you will have like a little bit of extra seating if people want to come in, like all the people in the island want to come and watch, but at the same time it's just small enough and simple enough that it fits in this area, because I didn't want to like just make something so huge here and just overtake this area. I just want it to be enough that will fill this opposite side of the cul-de-sac, and that's how I approached it. And then I went with the palm wood because I do like how the palm wood was looking here. And then on the volleyball court, what I decided to go is go one level down. So it feels like the volleyball court is kind of sunk down into the dirt. And then we got the sand, and that's how you like kind of keep the sand in there. And then I went online like always, and I was looking at real reference pictures. And a lot of the pictures that I was looking at, especially with the beach volleyball and the scenarios that I found, a lot of them were where you have like this wall around the court. So I was gonna approach it that way, but I decided to make it a little more like visually aesthetic, with a little more design flair to it. And I used the steps. Instead of having just the wall, we're gonna make the steps making kind of like the wall. At the same time, with the steps, you can go into the volleyball court and then you can get out. And as I was working in this build, it just kept evolving to a certain point, and that's why it became a mix of both. Because the first approach was just to make a simple volleyball court, and then it just kept evolving into became something more elaborate, but not too much. Like I said, it's kind of like a mix of both. But I did end up liking how the finished product came out, and I was kind of very pleased with it, because it just has that look a little more competitive, but it's not just very plain. But the good thing is, if you are recreating this build, you can go both routes. You can go super simple, more aesthetic, just the volleyball court, simple benches around it, and just keep it very simple. You can also go even more elaborate, and you can go more professional, more competitive, make something big around it. So the idea is there, so you can approach it whichever way. Right now, since this is just next to the cul-de-sac, it's just a little area that I wanted to fill in. So of course I was not gonna go real big, but I can see this as something that you can go real big in your island. You can make something wonderful, make it look like a stadium competitive area. And I think in the future I will build something like this, more competitive, and maybe in a specific area that is just for that. But right now this was a good way to try it out, give you guys something to be inspired, to apply to your island. Maybe you guys will tweak this, and like always, I'm pretty sure you guys are gonna make this 10 times better, and it's gonna look amazing, and I'm gonna be blown away. Okay, so I do want a little bit decoration, right? A little bit of nature around it, but not too much. So basically what I did in the corners, we're gonna put 2 bush seats. We're gonna pull the palm tree, and the palm trees that we're using is just the normal palm tree with the seed, not with the coconut, because I just want it straight. I don't want it just to curve and block a specific view or something that I don't want. So I just want it to go straight, keep it nice and simple, and then all 4 corners, and that's what we're gonna use for the nature. At the same time, it's just gonna be, again, we're gonna use the palm wood fence, and then the beginning you're gonna see that I was doing a couple like benches at first, but then at the end, after looking at so many pictures, I did change the seating, but I'm gonna save that until we get to that point in the video. Okay, so my idea, I'm trying to analyze this back here, because back here I kind of want just a little hallway that's just gonna go, we're gonna walk behind it, and then I'm gonna have this bridge, because this area down here is I'm gonna try to make like a beach area. So we're gonna have a bridge I'm gonna bring water into that. Okay, right there. So you see all those palm trees right after the hedges, all that down there. We're gonna lower that. We're gonna make kind of like a little beach area, sittings and stuff like that, and then a bridge that also is gonna go over the water and connect to another section in the front. And that, the way I'm explaining it is a little hard. I got the vision in my head, but you guys will see it, because since I'm just building this island with all of you and listening to your opinion, listening to the feedback, reading the comments, so all that will be in video. So I'm not gonna make that without recording it, but I like to kind of give you a little glimpse of what's coming ahead and what's the idea. Okay, so now I have 3 dirt printers, so I have to go back and forth and put them to charge, and then do something else as we go back and forth. So right now we're still filling up this area, right? We're still going ahead and lifting all this section where the volleyball court is gonna be. So I kind of already got the measurements. We did it earlier before. So the idea is to go 2 tiles deep, then you got the stairs, right? And the same thing on the other side. The other side will change a little bit, because we're gonna have a little bit seating area, and then the way the volleyball court evolved. So the one the side that's leading towards the lighthouse, right? That you can see the lighthouse. In that side, that's where, like, let's say if you have teams, so the teams will sit one side and one on the other, and then on the other side is where the crowd will be sitting. And that's kind of the way I was trying to plan it. I wish, and I kind of want it, but at the same time I didn't want it. I kind of wanted to go a little more back, but I didn't want to change the layout that I already had. I just wanted to be a straight line. So that's more like my call. and the way I kind of wanted to approach it. I didn't want to go more deep than what I have to. I want to keep the canal. I'm already going past the ocean a little bit more, and it's just because I got my own rules right now. I don't want to take too much over the water on different areas. I don't want to take over the river. I only take as much as I need to if I need to accommodate a build, but I don't want to just to go overboard on that. But if you guys are following and you guys want to go more deep and more depending on your island, depending on your map, and to make it even on both sides, then you guys can have a really nice build, right? And I think that's why eventually I kind of want to do this again, but more in a professional type setting. The layout is very simple. Making a volleyball court area is kind of nice. It's not like really complicated. It's not too hard. Especially after you give it a little bit of try, and then the ideas are gonna flow, and then you guys gonna make you can make a bunch of different ideas. You don't even have to do wood around it. You can just have everything sand. You can use umbrellas. You can have just seating. You can have just nothing. Just can keep it plain. There are so many ways to approach a volleyball court style. You can also make a wood one. Like let's say you don't want to make a beach one, but you want to use a wood flooring, and that's also great because you can do the wood flooring. You can do a stadium seating style, and then you can make it like an indoor like an indoor volleyball court. So there's different ways you can approach this. Right now, because I'm in the coastal town, I do feel like I want it to be more beach style, so that's why we're doing it with the sand. Okay, so I knew I wanted to have a little this lights over here, just on this side. On the other side, I did try to work on it, but with the seating and the spacing that I allow myself to have, I kind of work with it a couple times. Here, I'm testing to see if I like the look, how the hedges look as they sit behind the light. And since I'm gonna be able to see it, I kind of did not like how the hedges look, just those little lines, because since we got the lighthouse in the back, it's gonna be kind of like a viewpoint at the same time, right? Every time I build something, you guys know that I'm considering all angles and what you can see when you're building something. So to me, that's always important. The aesthetic of the view of the island, the aesthetic of what we can see, is very important to me. So what I decided on, instead of doing the hedges and all that, we're gonna raise the back to the same height, and then we're gonna close it up with the palm wood fence. And then it's kind of like having a little ledge right underneath the lights. You can kind of stand on it, and then if you wanted to see the lighthouse, you can stand there. But I'm not stretching it back. And the composition actually came out pretty good. I wasn't very sure if I was gonna like it, because I was like, man, I got like all these hedges, and then we're gonna be raised, then hedges, and then raised again. So I was trying to see if I was gonna like it, especially when I was building it right here. I wasn't sure, like 100% sure, if I was gonna like the look. But I knew I was not gonna like it with the hedges, because it's kind of shows that the wood, even though the wood's doing the same thing, but it blends. When you kind of look at it straightforward, it kind of disappears. In the hedges, I could see those black lines pretending they were attaching to the string of lights, and that was what's bothering me. But with the wood fence, they kind of blend. So it's like they kind of disappear, at least in my eyesight. Every time I'm looking at it, I don't focus on that. Like my eyes doesn't go to that focus point. So, and that's why I ended up using the palm wood fence to do that. And then it gives us kind of, you can stand now underneath the string of lights, and it looks good, you know. And then I didn't overtake, I didn't have to push the build back and all that. For me, the perfect scenario, if I wanted to, and something that I can come back to, is stretching maybe that backside one square back. And maybe I will, maybe not, maybe off camera I will give it a try to see if I like it. If I don't like it, I just don't sleep, don't save the day, and then just come back and everything is still the same way as it is. But at this moment, for the video, for you guys recording, I just left it this way for now. This is the approach that I wanted to do, and that's how I kept it. Okay, so over here it came out the way that I wanted. I have enough spacing to do the fence, and then the two squares for where we're gonna put the seating and closing out the volleyball court. And so right now we're still we're getting the build the way it needs to be, right? We're finally filled up the whole area, and the whole area is full, is filled. We got all the sand, and now we can slowly start approaching more the volleyball court. Now we just need to finish right here. We're putting the rest of the palm wood tile flooring, and then on the edge of the build is gonna be the cement. So the cement is like the structure that's holding this build together, because we're right on the ocean, and it's just holding everything together so it doesn't fall apart. Okay, so right here I'm still doing the stairs, right? It looks good, I like it, but then I realized down the road, we're gonna see it, I realized that I needed to actually go one more square down on the build, so I can have a middle on the volleyball court. The volleyball court, it has to be 9 tiles wide or long, depending which way you want to measure it, but it has to be 9, so we can have a middle being the 5th, right? So in the 5th tile place is where we're gonna put, or we're gonna pretend to put a volleyball net, right? So we can divide it. Right now, because of the stairs at the very end, it comes out to be 8, so I have no middle. And then once I realized that, I was like, oh no, now everything is not working. And I could have easily extended the volleyball court one more down, but I have a coral reef down and right next to the wall, and I kind of like how that looks. So what I decided at the very end, once we come to that point of the video, you're gonna see it, we're gonna take the very last row of the stairs, the one that's facing towards the ocean, we're gonna take that one out, and we're gonna leave it just sand, but we still have that wall because the decking area is lifted, right? And that's gonna keep it very it's gonna give us the nice squares that we need. It's perfect. And then we got the volleyball court, we can have a center. So here is where I'm building kind of like the little sitting area, just a little elevated, so we can see the people when they're sitting, and people can see like the game and all that. It's very, very simple. It's not very complicated, and that's where we're gonna put it. Then we're gonna make a little wall that's gonna we're gonna raise it and just kind of cover that area so you don't see the backside. So it kind of keeps the view concentrated just on the volleyball court. Of course, in the corners, again, we're doing the same design that we've been doing in all 4 corners. 2 bush trees, we're putting a palm tree and all that. So the area is slowly is coming together. It's being designed, and it's coming out nicely, right? It's kind of now finally taking shape. It's taking that shape that you will see in a place. But instead of being so much recreational type of build, it's becoming a little more, I want to say, competitive style of look. It looks a little more professional, like a little more, instead of just being like in a park. Like at least in the parks in my area, there's 2 parks that we have. They do have like a volleyball court, and they do have sand on it, but it's just sitting in the corner. Like there's no seating around it or nothing like that. So this one is, for me, it's more like a step up. It's like a place that is nice. You can come, you can play, and you got seating, and you can make a birthday party. You can have, invite everybody that you know, and let's hang out, and let's play, and do all of that. Okay, so here in this corner, I realized that this corner is not matching. The palm tree is not matching to this corner in the front. For some reason, I don't have it the way it's supposed to be laid out. So slowly I started tweaking it and just putting it in the right place. And I was kind of double checking myself, because I was like, okay, why is it not falling the same way? But it wasn't falling the same way, so I needed to fix it. So I went back and forth just to make sure. Maybe my eyes were playing tricks on me, but at the end it wasn't. I was a little off. So now I'm moving things around, and maybe and there's still something in the back side. I do have like an extra space, and I don't know, is it because the way I got things laid out, or the way because I have a fence. So there's something that makes things feel a little bit like I have more spacing in the back than in the front. But either way, I did try to check a couple times if I wanted to fix that, or, 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 in many ways, but I think at the end I decided to keep it this way because on the side that's facing the lighthouse, there's kind of not much walkway to walk, right? Because once I put the decorations and the items that I need and what we're gonna do to make a little more, to make this be a little more stand out, there's not gonna be like an easy pathway to walk. But on the side that the crowd is supposed to see, right over here, we do have that. So having that extra space actually worked out. So I left it alone. We left it alone. Everything is looking good. Everything feels great. But as you're building it, tweak it to make it fit. Tweak it to make it feel just right for you. Do the changes that you need. Use the seating that you need. Use the palms that you want, or if you want to go with trees, if you're making this in a forest biome or in the desert, just make it fit your build in such a way. But at least the layout, the idea, the inspiration is all here so you guys can know how to at least approach it in the beginning and then tweak it, because you know it fits right now the coastal town, the vibe that I have, and that's why we're making it this way. Okay, so I decided at first I was gonna go with benches. I think it was, oh yeah, this is outdoor, let's go ahead and put benches. But like I said earlier, because I was looking at a lot of pictures, real places of people that have volleyball, I noticed there's that particular style of chairs that are very common. So once we get to that point, it's more towards the end of the video, but once we get to that point, you're gonna see, and I do feel like it gave it that final push to the build that it made me very satisfied, and I was like, yes, this is the look. That's the look that I want. After seeing so many pictures, that's what I like. Okay, so here I'm using the barrels right now just to put some places. That can change in the future as we get new items. I may come back and do a little tweaking, a little redecorating. I ended up doing a little bit of putting some flowers at the end, just in key places, just to have a feel, to see if I wanted more flowers or not. I decided to go like always. My style of decorating is a little more in the simple side. So at the end, I use more materials and more to fill up the area to make it feel a little more competitive area than more of the cutesy, cozy style, at least for this particular build. But like always, when you are building it, approach it the way you want. I know you guys are gonna do an amazing job, and as we're starting to do more island tours and stuff like that, I know we're gonna be seeing this, and you guys are gonna do amazing. I can't wait to see your take in many of these builds. Okay, so now I'm just making sure that I have that little hallway, right? This little hallway in the back. That's I kind of wanted just a little hallway just to walk, because and then we're gonna have a bridge. We're gonna have also stairs leading down towards the beach area, and that's gonna be a whole separate video, right? But I wanted to make sure that I have enough space, or if I wanted to push the build a little more back. And I kind of did debate it on that. I was going back and forth to see if I wanted more space or not. Oh, and here's Franklyn. He finally came and he's inspecting the build. We went back and forth. We were talking. He's actually kind of liking it, but he's like, hey, where's the net? Where's all the other items? Where's the ball and all that stuff? And then he was saying like, this area is a little dark. Don't we need more light? And I was telling him, hey, I'm building. It's not just done yet. I need a little more time. Can you come back a little later? You know, and you can see the progress. You know, Franklyn, he works hard all day long. He's building, he's inventing, he's doing all this stuff, and he's ready. He's ready to take his frustrations. You know, after everybody's requesting stuff and building all this complicated machinery, he just wants a place where he can see, enjoy the view, maybe play a little volleyball, and just be happy. So yeah. So okay, so we're back here. Now I'm trying to put a little more light because Franklyn said it's a little dark. So I'm like, okay. So, and I went back and forth with different lights. At the end, I ended up going with copper. We actually use LED light when I go with the copper, and the way I managed to put it, at first I didn't think it was gonna work. It may be a little too bright, but I ended up liking it, and it gave it that final push as well that I wanted on the build, and it worked out just great, and it just made it very happy. Here's Franklyn again. He's liking it. He actually likes how this build complements the lighthouse. He likes that he can sit, just view it. It's his own little area, so he's a happy camper right now, and that makes me happy. You know, it just makes the build process a lot more enjoyable when Franklyn is very happy. Okay, so now we're in the next day. I got all my equipment, I got everything that I needed again. So now we're gonna fix this. This is in the point of the build that I realized I need a little one more square so I can find the middle part of the court. And then after doing more research, especially when I was at work on my lunchtime, I was looking at more volleyball court settings and all that. I realized that I wanted to do a couple more things. I wanted to add the area where the referee is gonna sit. I wanted to make the volleyball net that we don't have one, so we're gonna use the flag post with the flags, and I think that's gonna work out really good. And I think I managed to at least put it in such a way that kind of makes it look a little more real. We started tweaking a little bit of the lights. I noticed that I didn't like how bright it was, and then I was like, okay, so I saw this picture where at the corners of the volleyball court, you know, because they're playing at the beach, they got like these lights. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can do something like that and see how that feels. But now we have to wait until it's nighttime. So I placed them the way that I thought that it may work. But we had to wait until nighttime to see how that feels. And then we'll see some more movement in the way that we had to kind of rearrange a little bit of the lights. Then I'm taking all these ones on the top off. I was going to try to do something else. I just left the hedges at the moment, and you know, I'm just doing a couple of the tweaks that I need to do. I'm waiting for some of my the dirt printers to charge at the moment, and so I can do what I want to do before I start doing the volleyball court. Like, I want to make sure that I got things the way I want. Franklyn, again, he's asking a bunch of questions, giving his input, and telling him yes, it's gonna be fixed. Right here in the front, I finally figured out why the front wasn't looking as well. Like, there was something off about it that I wasn't not enjoying it, and I realized it needs to be 2 wood tiles in the front, so it can be like the back, just like it can be on the side. And once I looked at that, I was like, oh yeah, that's what it was. And once I put that, then the front was feeling so much better. It just felt just right. It felt the way that it needed to feel, and I was very happy. Okay, so here, this is what we're gonna use as the volleyball net for the moment. And so I wanted to make it feel like you can actually, if the character jumps, you can kind of like spike the ball. So that's why you see me there. I was kind of seeing how deep do I need to go, and when the character jumps, like it feels like you can go over the net. So by going too deep, it made it feel like the way I wanted to. Plus, then the flags are a little lower, so it's kind of like imitating a little bit of the fence. So right here, we're making the referee sitting area. So when we start playing volleyball, somebody can sit there and kind of referee the game. They can have the good view. So then I had this idea of using these signs at the moment. They can be the sign where we keep the scoreboards and stuff like that. And slowly we're adding those last little detail. And these little details at the end made it feel more of a competitive style volleyball court, but minimal, but a little more professional end, right? So on the back side, I see many of the volleyball court, they got this long table. That's where, you know, people are keeping the score, the books, and all that stuff. But I didn't like it the way it looked at the very end and being that big. I think I like the view of the ocean when you're walking in. I like to see that. I prefer having seats there. So what I ended up doing, instead of putting it there, I using this little 2 sections right over there. And Franklyn's also thinking the same thing. He's like, I didn't like how you had that. And right there, he's like, why do we have this? I'm like, well, right now, this is what we have right now. I know in the future, we're going to have a real volleyball net. It's in the work. Your partner, James, you know, overseas, he's working on it. He's going to bring that in the future. So this is a placeholder. And then Franklyn's like, okay. So Franklyn is just overseeing, again, exactly what we're doing. He liked the idea of moving the cabinets from the back to the side, and then we ended up putting the white chairs, and then we ended up gonna be putting books, and then here's where they're gonna keep the bookkeeping, you know, the fouls and all that stuff, anything that the substitution and all that, people can sit there and do what they need to do. And I feel like that started giving it that look, that feel. So then I needed a bowl, you know. I debated between coconut. I debated between. I didn't like the egg idea, so I'm using this little stone that looks a little more round, at least, and just putting it there, just there in the sand. If you're just looking quick, it kind of feels like it could be a volleyball. And a lot of volleyballs are yellow with black and stuff like that. So I think it has that, at least that color, that look, that it will make it look a little bit good. And it's kind of round. So I think for now that's the best approach that I could do it. But just by placing it on the ground, it gave something more to the court. And I think it's looking really well. I just hope Franklyn doesn't hurt his hand when he's trying to bump that. Okay, so now, like you saw where the referee is supposed to sit, I went ahead and changed that to cement. I want to have a little contrast. I was thinking maybe going with a dark wood or any other type of tone, but I decided to go with cement. This is outdoor. We don't want this to blow away. We want it to be very structured sound and all that. So we went ahead, we make it the cement. And I think it looked really good. It goes well with the white and all that. So slowly we are changing all that. And as you can tell, can you see how the volleyball court light is looking really, really good, right? Like having the copper lamps all around in the four corner, it really brought the illumination. So I was able to take more lights away because these lights are bright. But now we have good light on the court, and everything is just flowing. Now slowly we're getting there to those final details, to those final things that we need to add to go. So again, Franklyn had more ideas. He said, hey, we need a place where people can have drinks. So when the teams are substituting, they need a water break. We need to have that. I was like, okay, I can take care of that. And slowly we are adding the final details, especially that Franklyn wants to make this area more stand out. I have a feeling that Franklyn's gonna start like charging people to use this place. It feels like he wants to host this for all the people's competitive activities. So I think that's why he wanted so many things. All right, so I made some kegs that I needed to. So we're now in the following day. I got the materials that I need, and slowly now, especially that area, because that where the kegs are at is where technically the teams will be sitting at, right? And I think that slowly was giving that feel, and also we're filling up this area, so it feels a little more full. But it's not just with random items. I feel like we managed to pull something off that feels with the items that we have in Dinkum once again, to make it feel like it's a proper volleyball court area, right? So right here we're putting some of the tropical grass that I need. I didn't pull some in the back because I like the sand look as well. So we just kind of went back and forth and just adding the details and just looking at every detail that we're slowly needing. Franklyn again waving, telling me what he wants. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go get it. So we're gonna come back, and then we're gonna keep approaching this build, right? We're doing the final tweaks of everything that we need, and I think slowly it is coming out good. It's coming together, and I think it's something that we are enjoying very, very well. And now I'm making those final changes, and adding all these white chairs is something that I saw in pictures. It's the thing that I saw that when I was looking at all the pictures that I was using as reference. Everybody's sitting like in these white chairs, and once I started putting the white chair, it goes so well with the palm wood. It really stand out. It really gave it that look. It made it that feel like this is a little more of a competitor area. People do things. I tried to manage. I built some flags, and I wanted to see how flags will look. And I tried many different places, and for me, the best way this worked out is going a little more simple in the flag. We only ended up using 2 flagpoles, and I think I made 7 of them, but I ended up just using the 2. I think we ended up just moving them in a whole different direction, but I kept sitting on this. This is my favorite spot, just sitting in the referee chair. It felt good. I like the view, I like the angle, and it gave me a good idea of the view to see how everything is looking, to see if I wanted to change anything else in this area. So here, once again, I'm just trying to see if I can add these flags, but every time I was putting them in different places, they just felt too full, at least for my taste, my liking. And those 2 there, I didn't want to block the view of the lighthouse. in that way, when you're sitting in different places, you can still see the lighthouse. So I ended up at the very end, we just kept it very simple, not too complicated, and I didn't add all these, even though I tried it and I wanted to see how it looks. I just went ahead and just kept the two that I like the most, right where the crowd is sitting, and because it just felt like way too much. It's blocking the view. It doesn't feel as open. So yeah, and that was the approach. Now, if you want to put more flags, if you feel like it needs more, then I know you guys are gonna be playing around with it. You guys are gonna do it the way you guys feel is best. And I'm excited because just it could be my item placement, but then when I see on you guys, I'm like, man, that looks good. I didn't think about putting it that way. I didn't think about doing it this way. And I think that's also why Dinkum is so exciting, because my approach on one build is gonna be different than your approach, and then I get inspiration because the way you did yours, and then we just go back and forth, right? So I went ahead and fill up the kegs because eventually I want those drinks to pour down, and when they're landing there, I'm gonna keep them in the floor, and I think that also is gonna give it that extra look, that extra feel that we're looking for. But now basically I'm just walking around. I'm just walking to see if there's anything else that I want to add to this build. How's it feel? Do I feel like it needs something else? And just looking at it, I was well pleased. I was happy. I like the way it came out at the end. I know there's choices and decision in this process that it could look better, it could not look better. I could compromise in some areas. I know I did a little more compromising this time around on this build. I made some choices that I decided not to expand. But if you guys are approaching this build, you guys, I know you guys can make an amazing volleyball court area, very simplistic or very more heavy in the competitor stage. So, and I'm excited. I know eventually I kind of do want to make one that's more competitive and all that. I have my clipboard out. We're checking off everything that Franklyn wanted on this build. He kind of wanted, he said that we're missing a little trash can, so I was like, okay, so let me see if I can find one and where to put it. So I think that was one of the last things that we needed to add it to this build to make Franklyn kind of very happy, very pleased. We also tried to add a little more. He said we needed a little bit of, like a little more flowers somewhere, a little bit of yellow, a little bit of colors. I was like, okay, so let me see if I can find a place to put these vases at, and we try in and out. So we ended up putting them in the very back. We took 2 wheelbarrows off and we added those. And I think Franklyn was right. I think that gave it a little bit more. Instead of so much brown and hints of brown, adding that little bit of yellow worked out really good, and it just made it feel just right. Okay, so we have that. All that is done. We find a place to put the trash can, and I actually put it out here. I was trying to put it inside the area, but it actually worked out really well. It's like people are walking out and there's the bin, and people can throw the trash right there. I added the last little fence, that block that I needed, and then finally all of this came together. I feel like we have a build. I feel like we have a process. I think I managed to do the vision that I kind of wanted. I love the lighthouse in the background. It gives you something else to look at. It's not just one area, but I always like to build that we have places to look at, places to see. And if you build something in your island, I want to have a way so we can see those areas. So sometimes we go elevated, sometimes we go lower. On this one particularly, the lighthouse is in the background. So making that side of the build more open, more be able to see the structure that we worked so hard to build, it just looked just right. So here we are. We're doing the final walk during the day, taking in the field, see what we did. We added the books, we added the scorekeeping, we got the flowers, we got the flag. I actually took all the hedges out on the front. We put like all those signs so that they kind of make it feel like more like bulletin boards or something like that. And I think I like that more than the greenery. And yes, and sitting here is still one of my favorite spots. It looks great. I like to pivot the camera. This area, when you see in this referee seat, it just gives it that look. The one thing that we're still gonna do in the final walkthrough that I saw that I wanted to change was the steps leading into that chair. I still had in palm wood, so what we're gonna do is change that to go with the brick stairs. That way it matches the pillar. I think it also gave it a better contrast to the build and to the stepping, and we're gonna do that very soon. But we're right here. We're at the end of the video, and then I'm so glad that you guys stuck around, watched it. I can't wait to hear all you guys' response, to see what you guys think, what if there's anything that I need to change, what you guys' opinion. I want to hear your take on it. What would you do different? I think all of that, because reading all of that all the time, it really does help to figure the next build, how to approach it, to keep improving, you know. And all of you guys are new to the channel that have been subscribing, you know. I'm excited to hear from all of you. Again, you know, we are growing, Dinkum is growing, the community is growing, you know, and it's just such a wonderful time, right? Everything is just falling into place, and it's just an amazing time to be playing Dinkum. But we're at the end of the video, so guys, thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit a like, subscribe if you want to see more videos, and we'll see you next time. Alright, see you later. Bye.